Wow. Look how fucked up this story is. Wow, this guy takes the fucking cake on being creepy. American Airlines flight attendant accused of recording minors using aircraft bathroom. Wow. What a real dirtbag. Estes Carter Thompson of Charlotte, North Carolina, was charged with attempted sexual exploitation of children and possession of child pornography. This presume. Oh, so this motherfucker is a mind attracted person. Yeah, he basically just about a minor. Woo.
Is accused of trying to secretly record minors in airplane restrooms.
His name is Estes Carter Thompson III, and he's charged with attempted sexual exploitation of children and child porn possession. A 14-year-old girl alleges he tried to record her using the bathroom on a plane. Authorities say he had recordings of other young girls in his possession. Fox 4's David Santendri in the studio tonight with us with more. David.
Yeah, Stephen Heather, it's taken several months for the FBI to collect evidence and build its case, but the flight attendant for Dallas-based American Airlines is now in federal custody in Virginia.
It's every parent's worst nightmare.
An American Airlines flight attendant, 37-year-old Estes Carter Thompson III, was arrested on Thursday after allegedly using his cell phone to secretly record young girls using restrooms on airplanes he worked on.
The last thing we need to worry about is are our children being filmed while we fly.
A 14-year-old girl raised allegations during a flight from Charlotte to Boston in September.
A severe and devastating impact on her life.
The Department of Justice says the 14-year-old was waiting to use a restroom. Thompson guided her to a different restroom in first class. Before she entered, Thompson claimed he needed to wash his hands and advised her the toilet seat was broken. When Thompson exited, the young girl walked in and saw red stickers on the toilet seat that read, "Seat broken." The DOJ alleges Thompson hid his iPhone behind the stickers to record the young girl.
And no doubt that's why he preyed on children, because no doubt an adult would be even more alert to this. Hey, this doesn't look right.
The girl, however, was suspicious. She took this photo before exiting.
Because without that picture, who knows if he ever would have been caught.
The girl told her parents. Her father confronted Thompson. The DOJ says Thompson locked himself in the restroom before the plane descended. Once the plane landed, law enforcement officials confiscated Thompson's phone and suitcase. Thompson had 11 of these stickers in his suitcase. Thompson declined to speak with the FBI and left. Investigators say evidence shows Thompson performed a factory reset on his phone around the time he locked himself in the restroom. Federal investigators searched Thompson's iCloud account and say they found inappropriate videos from airplane restrooms recorded in a similar way.
And I was shocked to learn that there are apparently at least 5 alleged victims. So just the extent of the filming.
The FBI reached out to the victims' families. The girls' ages are 7, 9, 11, and 14.
We don't know what happens to these photos. We may never know. They could even be out there on the dark web.
The DOJ says Thompson's iCloud contained hundreds of AI-generated child pornography photos and more than 50 images of a 9-year-old unaccompanied minor sitting and sleeping on a plane. Remember, that's only what investigators say they know about.
Who knows if he used another phone?
American Airlines tells me that it is fully cooperating with law enforcement and that Thompson has been withheld from service since those allegations back in September. Heather.
Okay, I found a good follow-up story. Here we go.
You're like me, you lie awake some nights thinking about all the terrible things that could possibly happen to your kids and how powerless we are sometimes to protect them. But there is good reason that I'm about to tell you this next story, even though it's going to hurt. I want you to take a good look at that picture. It's what a 14-year-old girl saw in the airplane lavatory of an American Airlines flight last fall. That is a sticker that says, "Seat broken." And peeking out from underneath it is an iPhone that's positioned there, allegedly by a male flight attendant on that flight, to record people, very young people, using the toilet. Here's what happened. The 14-year-old victim in this case was flying with her family from Charlotte to Boston, and she got up to use the restroom in the main cabin, which is what we do when we sit in the main cabin. But it was occupied, so as she stood there, a flight attendant said, "Hey, the bathroom in first class is open," and walked her there. How nice. But the weird thing was he went in first. He says, "Hang on, he needed to wash his hands." And then she went in after. And she doesn't spot that half-hidden iPhone with its lights on until after.
Yeah, he said, "Oh, I need to go wash my hands."
But
yeah,
she does
you know,
do
he was
something
doing
very, very smart. She takes a picture of it, and she marches right back to her seat, and she shows it to her
That's
parents.
exactly what the motherfucker creed.
You can imagine what happened then, right? Parents alert the crew. That's code for holy hell broke loose. But the flight attendant in question, who led her to the bathroom and had to wash his hands first before she could go in, somehow he was able to lock himself in the bathroom again for several minutes, presumably wiping his phone back to factory status. Because that's how the cops found it when they arrested him on landing. So his name is Estes Carter Thompson III. He is now a former American Airlines flight attendant and current inmate, facing very serious charges. FBI did a little digging in his iCloud account and said they found plenty of evidence of child porn and other child victims of the airplane bathroom camera business. And now he's federally charged with attempted sexual exploitation of a child and possessing child pornography. And the authorities say that some of the victims they found were as young as 7.
Let
that sink in.
7, 9, 11,
Just a short time ago,
14.
I spoke with Paul Llewellyn because he is the attorney representing that 14-year-old girl and her family. By the way, I do want to tell you after. Your client was awfully young. I mean, by the reports, 14 years old, and yet she could single-handedly be responsible for stopping a child predator multi-times over. First, does she know how significant her role was in helping others not to be victimized? And is she okay? Is she doing okay?
Well, firstly, thank goodness she had the wherewithal to take that picture. As you rightly point out, without that picture, then this child predator may never have been caught. As far as is she doing okay, you know, it's obviously had a devastating impact on her and her family. The family are doing their best to protect their daughter. We may never know what happened to these pictures. For example, are they on the dark web? Is there a video out there on the dark web? So sadly, this will likely be hanging over her for the rest of her life.
And just for logistics, the way I understand the story, and correct me if I'm wrong, she had the wherewithal right away to take that picture, go back to her seat, tell her parents what had transpired, and ultimately her father confronted this flight attendant, who then locked himself in the lavatory and presumably wiped the phone back to factory settings. Hopefully, if all of that is true, her photos don't exist anymore. But you're saying there's a possibility something happened in between that timeline?
That's right. We don't know, of course, what the flight attendant was doing with the photos where he was locked in the bathroom, number one. We don't know if they was being live streamed, so there could be recordings of it out there as well. More importantly, the fact that the flight attendant was allowed to go back into the bathroom, this was a crime scene at this time.
Well, I was gonna
and so the fact that the phone was not immediately seized from the flight attendant to prevent him doing that very act, in my opinion, is shocking and yet another failing of American Airlines.
What happened when this flight attendant took your client from economy up to the first class bathroom?
Before she went into the bathroom, he said, "Before you go in, I'm just going to wash my hands because I'm about to start trash collection service." Well, that's unusual. Why would you wash your hands before you start collecting trash? He then said,
I'm going to go wash my hands before you use the
and so he went in, came back a short time later, and he said, "The toilet seat is broken, but don't worry, we will fix it when we land." So clearly, when he pretended to wash his hands, he was in there setting up the camera.
Thank you for watching. Go to...
Yeah, absolutely crazy, huh? I hope this fucking disgusting Basula gets a lot of years if decades behind bars.